smoking pot. I got my dick out, and I'm thinking about you, and I'm thinking about you. I'm smoking pot. I got my dick out, and I'm thinking about you. Just you.
I got my dick out, and I'm thinking about you. Thinking about you.
I'm driving along. I'm singing a song. And I got my dick out. And I'm thinking about you. I drank a six-pack. I took my pants off. Oh, I love you. I love you.
I'm smoking pot.
Oh, I love it. Finger banging. No close, but no cigar. Whose mind does that come from? But Jackie the Joke Man Martley. I don't even think about finger banging at this age. Are you kidding me? The only thing hard on me is my top of my nose. Hey, folks, it's September 28th, and it's Monday night. We weren't here last Monday. I was in the middle of doing another podcast, unfortunately, but I'm happy to be here tonight with the funny man, Jackie the Joke Man. And it's Monday night in the middle of the pandemic, and we're going to get right into it. Welcome. If you want to come in and tell jokes, of course, we'll give you a prize of something of some sort, or applause, or a big blah. So the link is up there. Look at that. There's already 16 people who just began. That's a beautiful thing. I'm putting the link up there one more time in the chat. You want to come in and tell a joke, feel free. Even if it's not about finger banging, we'll let you slide, even though finger banging would be the thing to play. With that away, let me bring on the man of the hour, the partner in crime, the funny man of pandemic, Mr. Jackie the Joke Man. There he is. Hey, Jackie.
I got to tell you, I've been meaning to say this for weeks and weeks, is you go through those pictures and they're all great. And then it just gets to the picture of me with I've got like two round breasts with nice nipples. It's like, they're not big, but they're like, they catch your eye. I'm like, what an odd picture. You're not supposed to look at a man's breasts, but my God.
Hey, it makes you get thirsty for milk. Hey, what's going on? Sorry, we missed last week. I'm sorry to say. I was doing a different podcast that I matter of fact, Jackie said to me, "What are you doing?" I had this gig where this guy asked me to do it back in like May or June, and I said, yeah, and it came up, and I didn't know it was the same time. I was like, it's shitty. So last week we didn't do this, so this is going to be even more fun this week. What did you do the last week or so? What's been going on with?
I just sat here and waited till this week.
That's it. You're just chilling. Okay.
How was Slayton doing?
Slayton was on the show. I had never met Bobby before, and he's a great
shot out of a cannon.
Great guy. Very. I never met the guy. It's so funny. Before the show, we went on the air. I have the dummy Smiley, who's the old man puppet, who's hateful and vengeful about everything. Slayton reminded me of Smiley the dummy.
I was going to say that's redundant. The last time I saw Slayton, we were in Jeffrey Epstein's.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
For real.
You know that whole story.
No, I don't know the story. I know. You sent me pictures when you were in Vegas. You and Slayton were at Penn Jillette's house. Remember?
Right.
And you told me about that. You said Penn was a really cool guy, and you were hanging out with him and Slayton, and you guys, whatever. And that was it. And I don't remember anything about Jeffrey Epstein. Tell me.
How did we
miss that?
I probably did not send you that picture because I was probably so sure I had sent it to you so many times.
So you were on the plane? Did you go to the island? Are you getting blood from little children to keep yourself young?
You really honestly don't know this story.
I have no idea, but I know you're going to tell me, and I look forward to hearing it. As a matter of fact, I wish I would have had that picture up first.
Oh,
But
have you got it?
I have some other pictures, not that one. But I got John Newbert's here. Why can't ghosts have babies? Because they have Halloweenies.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
That's a great kid joke. If you're like 13, you know something that's really good. That's great for like that bar mitzvah age kind of thing where you can on the edge. That's on the edge for a 13-year-old.
They have crystal balls. All right, I just sent you this picture. I'm sure you've seen the picture a million times. You probably just didn't think.
I don't know. Charlie Fisher says some shirt. You like this? This is my Hugh Hefner smoking shirt. This is when I'm hanging out smoking, even though I don't smoke. I smoke ribs.
It looks like my grandmother's couch. Beautiful.
It does, doesn't it? It's like that old lady kind of thing.
You know, all my favorite T-shirts are all getting the worn ring, and I mean, and all together, they're all. I just know one day I'm going to wake up and Barbara's going to have thrown away all my T-shirts.
No, that kills me. Certain socks and certain underwear. I have. Do you know I have socks and underwear for the road drives. Like, in other words, I want my testicles feeling comfortable in these particular underwear. And my wife goes, these are stretch out. These are no good. What are you doing? How could you wear? This is disgusting. I'm like, hey, those are my comfortable road ones.
Do not touch those. Right.
So it's same as your shirt, right? Same as your shirt.
Right. And they're classic. They're shirts that go way, way, way back. I think this is Nelson. Look.
Oh, damn. Yeah. Jiffy Jeffs. How's he doing, by the way? I know he was in Branson, then he came back. And
I got a heartbreak. The other day, I got an email from Bob Nelson. Jack, I finally finished reading your book. I got to tell you the stories about the early days and all this stuff. But it was just such a nice email. And I was so thrilled. It was a different Bob Nelson. It was, I mean, and of course there's a million Bob Nelsons.
Sure.
But I thought, especially when he said, hey, I love the part about the early days. I mean, that was a lot.
You're thinking, you're buying right into it. Sure.
I'm sure he's good. He was always a great guy. We got along great.
Yeah, I asked him actually to come on one of the shows. He didn't want to go in. He didn't feel like he wasn't into it at the moment. He was kind of like, I had done a show where we worked together in Long Island at a theater like about a year or two ago, and I met his son. He brought his son. He had a son named Moses.
Noah.
Oh, Noah. Okay, that's what. Yeah, I remember it was a biblical name, and I was thinking like, whoa, how does that happen?
I thought maybe I missed, and he had a second one named Moses.
No, you're right. It was Noah. I'm sorry.
His daughter's name is Burning Bush.
Hey, guess who just popped in here tonight? The stoic Mr. Fisher.
Jesus Christ.
If anything, at least we get to see Charlie all the way down south now. We get to see him here once a week. That's a beautiful thing. I got a question here too. What's your favorite sock? It's the soft one. Hey, what's going on with you all week? This whole pandemic. What are you still chilling out in the house? You're wearing the mask, you're ordering food in. What are you doing?
I doing the exact same thing. It's a couple days it's been winter, like I keep swimming the water. Like today, the water was like hot, but there are a lot of 50-degree nights. So it's a little bit weird, but we're hanging in and having fun, and nothing changes. If you have something different for dinner every night for 3 weeks, it still comes up 3 times in 2 months. You know what I mean?
A lot of people don't know it, though. People don't know, Jackie. You live in Bayville on the water. The water. And you go swimming every day out into the ocean.
It's Long Island Sound. David Feldman didn't do his podcast. You realize this is not right. We are doing a podcast on a Jewish holiday.
Oh, it's Rosh Hashanah.
It is Yom Kippur.
Yeah. Oh, it's Yom Kippur. I always used to say Rosh Hashanah is you have to get Rosh Hashanah before.
And you did, because the traffic. There was like one place on Long Island. Well, there must be a bunch, but one place on the way home where, it must be people that go to church or go to temple once a year.
I don't know. It's Yom Kippur. This is the Day of Atonement, right? The Day of Atonement.
Yeah. I saw my ex-wife was down at the water throwing rocks in the water. And she said, yeah, her boyfriend's Jewish. And he said, listen, sometimes on Day of Atonement, it's a good idea to throw rocks into the water and make wishes and make apologies and stuff like that. And then she went to see her mother, and she said, I had to come down here and throw some more rocks in. And she said, are you here to swim, or are you doing that too? I said, no, I'm a tone deaf. I'm not doing that. Yeah.
Charlie just said it ended at sundown. It's over. The Yom Kippur is done. We're finished.
That sounds like a John Wayne movie. It ended at sundown.
It ended at sun. It's interesting too. I don't think they're supposed to fast for like so many days, right? There's you're not supposed to eat for so long or whatever, which is tough for the Jews not to eat. I mean, they're like Italians, the Jews, they love to eat.
Of course, we all love to eat, but the thing is, sometimes you go a whole day without eating because you're busy and you're running around, and it never bothers you. But if you know you can't eat, and they tell you can't eat, it somehow it's a lot tougher. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like anything else. When you're a kid in school, right? Hey, so listen, why did you come up with this name tonight? Finger banging.
Well, you know what? I always thought that finger fucking was very funny. I just think I remember that I wasn't very advanced, and I was on the high school track team, but I was on the junior high track team in 7th grade, and I was the only pole vaulter, and I come from a little school, and they used to pick me up in a bus, my own school bus. They'd come up these Norwich 2 miles and bring me down so I could be on the track team, because we didn't have a track team. We were a little school. And
you actually were a pole vaulter.
Oh yeah, and we're in the I had been with a girl, and I'll never forget, Tony Cirilli said, "Did you finger fuck her?" And I just thought that was the funniest, the wildest expression. Like, I don't even know if I thought about putting my finger in her, but And then when somebody, I don't know whether me or somebody, when they said finger bang, I'm like, that is way, way funny.
Finger bang is funny.
Way, way, way funny.
It
still is.
It still is.
There's nothing like it. There's nothing like putting your finger in there. I don't care. It never gets old. Wow.
Maybe for the women, not for the guys.
No,
but this is the perfect theme for a Day of Atonement.
Right, finger bang.
Absolutely. I was thinking about it today. Like, I was thinking of finger banging jokes. I started thinking about it, and you start going through your Rolodex in your head of jokes and fingers, and there's so many jokes, but not necessarily a million of them about finger banging necessarily. It's a limited. It's a small.
My favorite is the guy's on a date with a girl, and he puts in his finger.
Right.
And she says, "Put in another finger." He says, "What do you want to do? Whistle?" Which is just.
I thought you were going towards the one with he says, put one finger in, put another finger in, put one hand in, put both hands in, and try to clap. And you go, "I can't." She goes, "Tight, huh? Tight." That's where you were going with that.
You gotta love that.
Another great joke. Speaking of finger jokes, so this is, you know me, I'm not a political person. I try not to get, so I figured, let me do a joke about one, I'll do a joke about the other. Because tomorrow night is the big fight.
Big fight, yeah.
Right, it's the big fight. And I'm not gonna be able to see it. I have a show I have to do, but I'm actually gonna tape it when I come home. So I started thinking about it today. So what's the difference between Donald Trump and someone working at McDonald's? The guy at McDonald's has to pay income tax.
Okay.
So that's my Trump one, but it's only fair. I'm an equal opportunity abuser. Now this one,
I thought you were going to say it like over 30 billion told. Talking about his lies.
But here's the other one. I wrote this today. Ready? This is like a rewrite of something else almost. So I go over and I see Biden. I go, "Hey Biden, you want to hear a gay joke?" And he goes, "Come on, man." Think about it a second.
I don't get it.
What do you don't get? Come on, man.
Oh, Jesus. Oh.
Yeah, but the point is, in those interviews, I
know that.
Right. So I thought that's a beautiful combination of, like, you want to hear a gay joke? He goes, "Come on, man."
Come on, man.
And you're like, "Oh, you heard it already. Thank you." Did I not set it up and take it around right? Maybe you should have done a little differently. You're the pro. You tell me. You're the guy.
No, I don't know.
Okay, you don't know.
Hey, I'm so old. So OD'd with that whole.
I hear you. Knock, knock. Who's there? Finger bang who? Your mom. Thank you, John Hunt. This guy's name is Hunt. He's off by one letter.
Very good. Finger bang your mom.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. On the day of Kippur. So you've been hanging out. You're doing a lot of those, of course, the cameos and stuff.
I've been doing a lot. I did 3 cameos yesterday and 5-star reviews on each, which is really great. You know, it's really funny because one of them was for a friend, a book by his sister. And I don't know if that counts. I feel bad taking the money, but you know, if you do it that way, then it gets sent by Cameo, and it's much more official. You know what I mean? It's the whole deal. But I still enjoy doing those things.
How long are the cameo bits that you do? How long are they? Like when you make this little you do joke 3? I mean, because some jokes are long, some are short. Like how long do you make them?
You know, I don't usually throw in a couple of extra jokes. Those are supposed to be a minute or a minute and a half. I make them like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. The one I did for David was like 3 minutes, you know, because I'm like, you know, once I start talking, you know, I'm just yakking, and you know, and you had another joke, and you know, it's like you're standing at the bar, you know, you're thinking of a joke, and you're thinking, you know, a lot of them are just go-to because they're the ones that work the best, and you know, and then I know I'll leave this one out if they want me to take it easy, and I'll throw this one in if they want me to get a little extra crazy. And you always make it along the lines of, you know, this guy was a pilot and this guy was a fighter, and you know, and you just throw in a couple jokes that are along that flavor, and they go nuts. But it's, you know, it's effortless. You know, it really is. You know, you know, the guy was a pilot and he got such a kick out of the joke. You got to know this. The plane is coming in for a landing, and the pilot's freaking out, and he's like, and he's sweating, and the sweat's jumping off his brow, and he's like freaking out. Okay. He says, the co-pilot, man, that is the shortest runway I ever landed on. And the co-pilot says, yeah. And so wide. Which is just the greatest.
That's a great joke. It's great.
It's so stupid.
You know, I didn't remember it till you hit the punchline. It didn't connect to me. I was like, oh yeah, okay, it's great. That's a great joke. You were just talking about a bar. I was remembering there was this great joke about a guy. You're hanging out with your wife at the bar, and a guy comes over and he goes, "Hey, $200 for your wife." And you're like, so, you know, he's like, "Pal, I'm really sorry. I don't have to carry that kind of money for you to take my wife away."
That's, you know, about the Arab sheik, the guy and his wife are on vacation. The Arab sheik says, "Your wife is so beautiful. Oh, I'm in love with your wife.
Right.
I must have her. I will trade you her for her weight in gold." And the husband says, "Got to give me a few days, pal." He says, "To think it over?" He says, "No, to fatten her up." which is never not funny.
No, that's like, as a matter of fact, you know, so these fat jokes that I even have some really funny ones I wrote with the dummy, and you throw them out at people, and then the whole crowd, like half the crowd, just hates you. You can't do that. You know, there's like certain things that are, it's like illnesses, overweight women. There's certain things you just don't go anywhere.
Oh, fuck. You know, my favorite, the worst fat woman joke I ever wrote was the girl was so big that at the bottom of her cunt they spoke Chinese.
I love it.
Which is horrible.
If I was Otto and George, I'd be doing that kind of a joke if I had the
God.
opportunity.
I was looking through Jackie's joke hunts the other day. I got all 400 scripts right in a row.
Wow.
And I was
how many great jokes?
Laughing out loud. And, you know, the fake emails we had, you know, hey, you know, God.
I got to say, Ian is the greatest combo host working with.
Yeah, he keeps saying how much he loves this show when he gets
come on.
I'm like, where the hell have you been with your?
Yeah, let him come in.
He's running around. He's working. You know,
I see him on Facebook shooting videos and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just got look at that, a very kind comment here, and it said, "You both have always been very kind to fans and air conditioners." Yeah,
fuck the fans. Cocksuckers.
Craig Nye says, "Is that Kenny Rogers with you, John?"
Hey, all right. You want to play a game?
Sure, let's play a game. I'm bad at games, but go ahead.
This is the amazing Mr. Knows a Lot.
Mr.
Show
Knows.
business and sex, truth or bullshit.
Okay.
The amazing Mr. Knows a Lot. Show business, sex. Show business and sex, truth or bullcrap.
Well, set me up. What do am I supposed to do something or
Just say true or false.
true or false? Got it. Okay.
If an average human scrotum was stretched until all its wrinkles were smoothed out, it could hold a basketball.
False.
True.
No.
But please do not try this at home.
I was just thinking
All
about
right, let's do another one. The head of a man's penis is made of the same sponge-like flesh as his earlobes.
I don't pull my earlobes. It's the same as your earlobes, the soft, fleshy stuff. I would kind of believe that's true.
No, that's false. But it can also swell up to the size of a basketball. All right, we'll do one more.
All right, go ahead.
We used to do these on the Joke Men. So much
I
fun.
love it. I love it.
The first time Marilyn Monroe gave oral sex in Hollywood, the lucky recipient was Gene Autry.
False.
Right. It was Gabby Hayes. Well, it was Gabby Hayes who blew Gene Autry, and Marilyn was pulling a train in a mobbed-up Chicago brewery. Yeah, a little fun there.
I don't remember that from the show. I don't remember that at all. I listened to every single show. Every single show.
Yeah, we did The Amazing Mr. Knows a Lot, and we did All Hail. We picked somebody and do an All Hail, and we had this little Asian girl that used to come in who did bad sex advice.
Asian girls with bad
so
sex.
So much happened in 400 shows. I mean, and all the scripts are sitting right there. We could just sit there and read them, and
have a good time.
Yeah.
Joey Cola says, "Hello, boys." Suddenly, we're young men. And by the way, you're asking us questions, and people are going true, fake, false. True. People are actually doing it right. Oh wait, Manny, there's your friend, Manny. Guys, I love your comment, but I keep my act free from vulgarity and profanity. The other day, after someone in the audience said that I should pepper up my act, curse words, that it would be funnier. And she knows because for work, she talks in front of 1,000 people. And I said, "Oh yeah, tell that to Kevin James, Jerry Seinfeld, Brian Reagan, Jim Gaffigan, Ray Romano." I remember I all of comment. What do you think about that, Jackie? That people need to pepper up their act or not?
Well, I think Manny's a cunt.
There you go.
Okay, Manny, true or false?
Go ahead, Manny. You answer.
The distance sperm travels to fertilize an egg is 3 to 4 inches.
All right, Manny, in the comments, please answer. Let's see what he comes up with.
The distance sperm travels to fertilize an egg is 3 to 4 inches.
It takes him like 3 to 4 minutes to say yes or no. And he's not responding yet. Brad Larry's, Jackie, you sound almost like Richie Minervini.
No, he sounds like me.
Hey, by the way, while Manny's trying to come up with an answer, I found the picture here. And look at this. Speaking of Minervini, check it out.
Ah.
There you go. By the way, you look better now than you did then.
Did you ever get the picture I sent of the Jeffrey Epstein gang?
What? Where'd you send it? To my email? Oh, you sent it to my phone. How am I supposed to get it up here from the phone?
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's okay. Oh, here you go. Okay, I see, what's his name from Boston? Jay Thomas, Woody Allen, and your friend. Yeah, there's no Epstein there.
No,
just
Jeffrey
Woody.
Epstein took the picture.
There's Woody.
That's Nick DiPaolo, Bobby Slayton, Woody Allen, Jay Thomas, and me. And that was taken by Jeffrey Epstein at his apartment.
Get the hell out of here.
You didn't know that story?
No, I saw this picture before, but I didn't know it was taken by Epstein at his apartment.
Is that crazy?
How was that?
That's so insane. Wild. It was so fun. I harassed Bobby Slayton for a couple of years because he told me about this rich guy that had him and David Brenner and Lewis Black and all these people that he'd have him up to dinner and he'd give them an apartment to use. And I don't know. I don't think Slayton ever went to the island.
Yeah, but do you think
he said he loves comedians and he loves to laugh and he loves to get the guys together. And then he called me one day and he says, "Hey, Martling, I got you invited to dinner." And we went. And me and Epstein hit it off. And like 2 or 3 weeks later, I went back by myself. We had dinner by ourselves.
Yeah, but he didn't put you in one of those rooms and videotape you so he could hold it against you for the future, did he?
Well, he asked, but he couldn't afford it.
Oh, perfect.
No, he couldn't have been straighter or more normal. And we had
Really?
such a good time. And there's a whole story about that.
How was that house?
The house, the irony of ironies, which they don't bring up,
Right.
is that it's either the largest or second largest single residence in Manhattan, but it used to be a girls' school. What are the odds of that? I can't believe they don't play that up. That's huge. It was a girls' school, which is hysterical.
Now, I saw like on television or on the documentaries and whatever that when you walk into the guy's house, on the wall there's a huge picture of Clinton holding the blue dress, and it was like, holy shit, the guy has this real.
When I went the second time, and we just had dinner ourselves as we were walking out, it's like at the top of, when you first walk in, it's at the top of the stairs, and I looked at that, and I know he had. Clinton and the Shah and Trump and all these people on this plane, and him and Clinton at least hung out. I don't know how good friends. I said, Bill can't be thrilled about that. He says, no, it's not his favorite picture.
Like
if I remember right, I think it's a painting, and my memory plays tricks. I don't know if he's holding it. It's definitely stained, but I can't remember if he was wearing it or holding it. I just thought it threw me when I saw it because it was, it wasn't hidden behind the doorway. I mean, it was the main picture there.
When you walk in, right, there's a staircase to the right that goes up, right?
The staircase, yeah, and then it's up on the right, yeah.
Yeah, but now you heard all the stories that came out about this guy and all the things he was doing and stuff.
But this is in April of 2015. Okay, and Slayton knew him, and I knew he had gotten in trouble in Florida for underage girls, but I'm thinking 16-year-old girls. And hey, I spent a lot of time in Florida and fucked a lot of girls in Florida, and I'm sure the girls look 22 and they're 17 or 15. Nobody knows. And then you meet a girl who's like 17. She's got 3 kids already. It's a weird world down there. But I didn't know the extent, and I can't believe I never told you the story because he told me the weirdest story. And when I repeated it to people, when you tell stories to people, how you could sense that their eyes are rolling. There goes Martling with one of his stories, which thank God for Google and thank God for my book. People realize that these are true stories. There's no need to lie when there's so much funny, great stuff.
So tell me, I'm not rolling my eyes. Tell me.
And he told me the story, and it threw me. But then a couple of years later, I looked up, and the text of what he told me was on the screen on MSNBC because it was in that book, Fire and Fury by Michael Wolff. We're walking out, and it was almost like a Columbo, like, oh, one more thing, I just saw we didn't really have much one-on-one when all the guys were there because, we were all there, then we all left, but it was just me and him, and he was so interesting because he really liked jokes because he's a mathematician,
right?
And jokes are little problems.
Yeah.
And he said, Jackie, tomorrow night I'm going to see Noam Chomsky at Harvard because I give millions of dollars to Harvard and I give millions of dollars to Noam, and we're very good friends. He says, and he'll do his speech, his lecture, and then afterwards we'll go in his dressing room and we'll tell dick jokes for an hour. I mean, that's what he said to me. He said, we all love jokes, so we're laughing. So I'm walking out.
This is like surreal, though. It seems like surreal. Like,
well, you couldn't.
Wow.
This is April 2015, and you got to know how much I badgered. I badgered Rodney to get him to take me away with him, and then we went and had the greatest time in the world. I badgered the people who let me make a joke book. you just keep knocking on the door. You know, persistence
Sure.
is everything.
Sure.
So so just walking out, and it's April of 2015. So I don't know if Trump is already a candidate. I guess he must have been, or whatever. But out of the clear blue sky, I just said, you know, Jeffrey, you know, you're a rich guy and rich New Yorker, and Trump's a rich New Yorker. You must know Trump, right? And he said to me, yeah, we used to be, you know, pretty good pals, but we had a falling out. I never told you this.
No, I'm just sitting here thinking to myself.
And I said, a falling out. I said, what, like a business deal? He beat you up, you know, ripped you off. And I didn't know at the time how ironic this was. And he said, no, it was a morals thing.
Morals.
And I said, oh, he goes, yeah. He says, one day he just turned to me and said, Jeff, do you fuck your best friend's wives?
That's what it was.
And he said, and I said to him, well, I've never been married, but of course not. He said, and Trump said to me, the only way I can get off is to fuck my best friend's wives. And I do what I can to get in their pants. And if I can't get them, I have the husbands come to my office and sit with me at my desk. And I get their wives on the speakerphone without them knowing it. And then talk pussy to the husbands so the wives can hear what low lives their husband. He'll be like, hey, I got 3 Chinese girls coming over. They're going to be downstairs, some young girls. You know, we'll go have some fun with them. And meanwhile, the wife is hearing this. And Jeffrey said, what kind of fucking, I mean, here's a guy who, whatever he was up to with young girls or whatever, but it's a whole, you know, that's wrong. And the young girls thing is wrong, but completely
manipulating
and being that horrible to a friend is that's in a different category. You know,
now, why would he tell you this? Like, why?
I just said, you must have been friends with Trump. And he said, no, we had a falling out. And I mean, we were friendly. I mean,
and you know, interesting too, in the media, Jackie, they said that in the media.
Well, he said that. And then I told a few people that story, and people like rolled their eyes. And then all of a sudden it was in Michael Wolff's book that, and the stories have it that Trump fucks his best friend's wives, etc. And I'm like, holy shit! All of a sudden, that's rubber stamp. I don't know. I don't think it was credited to Jeffrey Epstein. You know, stuff like that. They don't really. You know, it's usually sources say. You know, I can't believe I know what. But how wild is that?
It sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. Then again, everything has happened with that guy is crazy, from what I understand.
But I didn't know at the time. I found out later. You know, him and Trump were double teaming young girls. And the girls were all ready to have a press conference out in Los Angeles. And at the last minute, they changed their minds. And their lawyer was Lisa Bloom, who was a big time feminist attorney. And it was the whole thing that was Jane Doe. But, you know, the things fall apart because it's like, oh, well, Trump and Epstein took advantage of me every time I went over there. It's like, wait a minute. What do you mean every time you go? Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Because they're millionaires, and women wouldn't want to hang around millionaires, of course. I mean, that's the nature of, it's always been that way.
You know, but I mean, who knows? Jeffrey Epstein certainly didn't commit suicide, but it's one of those things like, you know, the line is around the block of people that needed him out of the way, you know.
I tell you the truth, I don't think he killed himself either. I think he had a lot of information on a lot of people. That's what they said. He would bring people over, and he had tapes of them banging or whatever people, and that was not going to come out.
No, you know, between the Shah and I don't think Bill Clinton would have hurt him, but you know, like Trump and Prince Andrew, you know.
What about, not even that? What about now the girl Ghislaine Maxwell? That who knows what's going to come out of that mouth either.
I can't believe she's still alive. You know, her clock is ticking. You know.
I totally agree with you. Wow, that's amazing. Let me just tell you what. Now, when you went to that guy's house, though, you had like get a butler and people like cook.
You know what? It was. Forget about Jeffrey Epstein and forget about it was the greatest group of people to be having a fucking lunch with. It was Nick DiPaolo, Bobby Slayton, Slayton's wife, Jeffrey Epstein, Woody Allen, Soon Yi, Jay Thomas, and me. Just imagine. Now, I don't know. Do you know Jay Thomas at all?
No, I know of him. I never met the guy. I always
Do you
loved the
know about
tree.
his Lone Ranger bit?
You know, I know he did the Christmas tree every year with meatballs and
he.
What was the? Yeah, there was a Lone Ranger bit. What was the Lone Ranger?
He told the Lone Ranger bit every Christmas for 25 years
on Letterman.
On Letterman.
Yeah.
And we're talking, and Woody Allen's going, "Yeah, I never watched Saturday Night Live. I've never watched any TV. Blah blah blah." And everybody's like, "Are you? Come on, you had to have seen Jay's Lone Ranger bit." And he said, "No, I'm sorry, I really don't." And I had never seen it. And fucking Jay Thomas did his classic Lone Ranger Letterman bit right there at the table, like a command performance for Woody Allen. And it's you know what? It's not a 30-second thing. You got to Google it and watch it because you'll be thoroughly entertained.
Nina Levy goes, Woody Allen is a freak.
Of course he is, but we all are.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know these people. I never met the guy. I don't know. I just, you hear all these things in media and you know something. I do know, one of the things I do know, and you know this too, because you've been in showbiz long enough to see how any one thing you say or do, or a little this or a little that, and next thing it turns into this whole big story.
Right. And also there are major things people do that get swept under the rug.
That's right.
So who knows?
Yeah.
I do know that Woody, we did that show at Pips a long time ago. Pips was going under, and to try and help out Ray Garvey, we made a movie at Pips, and the movie was about throwing a show to save a club. But meanwhile, the movie was being made to try and save Pips. And Ray Garvey knew everybody. Ray Garvey was in like 8 Woody Allen movies because he met him on the set one time working as an extra, and Woody liked him. So he put him in a lot of movies. So it was David Brenner and Woody Allen and Pat Cooper and John, what's his face, the pitcher for the Mets, the great guy, John Franco, little Italian guy. And it was an amazing cast, and it was just one after the other going up and telling jokes. And the making of that movie.
Where's that movie? Where is it?
It's I think it's called The Last Laugh. I think it's on the web, and it's what's his face produced it? The little guy Jeff Mazzola.
Yeah.
And so Pat Cooper goes up, and they're trying to get the camera set and the sound right. And meanwhile, Pat
screaming, yelling.
He's doing 20 or 25 minutes to get everybody going. And they said, all right, action. That's like, what the fuck you talking about? I just did my act. He had just done his entire act, but the cameras weren't rolling yet. And there was a big fight, and Pat got all pissed off, and Pat stormed out of there. He's not in the movie. You couldn't make it up, right? So at the end, they said, Jackie, tell a bunch of dirty jokes, and we're going to shoot from the outside. So the end, when the credits roll, you're seeing the stage of Pips, but taken through the plate glass from outside. And I'm on stage telling dick jokes.
Right on Evans Avenue. Yeah. Tell me the name.
So I go up there, and they say, just do a whole bunch of dirty jokes, and we'll just tape it so we can run the thing. So I'm up there, and I'm rolling off, and they want me to be, so I'm working to the boys, it's the end of the show, and I don't even know if they're going to use the audio. So I'm killing, and a bunch of the Sopranos walked in. Wow. And not Gandolfini, but Sharippa and Tony, Tony, whatever his name is, and Michael, all the names are the same. But Tony, what's Tony's name?
Tony Soprano?
Yeah, no, Tony,
the guy with the gray hair, Tony.
Yeah, the scary guy.
Yeah.
So he actually went to jail in the 70s for double murder. Literally went to jail for double murder. And I came off stage, and he's a good guy. I know those guys, not real well, but I know most of them.
Jackie, I just found the trailer for this thing.
Right. So listen, Tony comes up to me and goes, Jackie, because I just did all these dirty jokes. He comes up and says, Jackie, you're really fucking scary. I said, what are you talking about? I said, those fucking jokes, man. You're scary. I said, Sirico, You murdered 2 people. You went to the Who Scout for murder. And I'm telling naughty jokes. You're fucking scary, Jack. I'm telling you, scary. I love that story.
I got, you know something? I got the trailer here. Want me to play it? It's like two minutes long.
John Mulrooney was in the movie.
He's hosting it, who I just spoke to last week, by the way. Look, let's see if I could show you this. You ready? Here it is. All right. That's it, Jackie. And let me just play some of
But
this.
he never was on the stage.
No, he's sitting there looking like
People do stand up, and especially in a room like this. We are one colossal bucket of shit. It's a fight. It's a knife fight.
Side, stop winging chair.
This is a boxing.
holy shit.
Our IQ is about 55 points lower than everybody else on the planet. It just seemed like the club that time forgot. I've seen people leave here crying.
I will fuck with you all night long. It smells like wet midget fish tank.
I really think you got a camera on me.
Stop fucking walking dead.
Now make me laugh. There's gonna be a fucking problem.
That looks more like a Pips documentary. I don't think that's the last laugh.
No?
Take a look.
Your jaw's broken, 3 of your ribs are fucking black. I fucking do.
Hit that fucking thing.
That's like a movie, man. That's like you do.
I'll kill somebody 40 hours. That's it.
You're a compulsive crying. You can't help yourself.
Oh, I'm knocking you out. I'll knock you out.
In the darkness, nobody laughing, and the one thing you hear is me mocking you.
What owner heckles you from the back of the room?
You don't think that's the one, huh?
No, that's a Pips documentary. That's great. But the last laugh is, I'm pretty sure I can get a copy of it. It's Jeff
No, I'm gonna go-
Mazzola. The point was Woody Allen saw me do my act, and because the reason we got Woody Allen was because of Ray and Woody Allen's cameraman for 20 or 30 years was this guy Michael Green, and you know the way these guys work is they have a job, but then when they work on a smaller movie, so he wasn't, instead of being the camera operator, Michael Green was the director of photography on this movie, and he was Woody's good friend. He'd play chess with Woody on the sets, and he said they'd sit there, and Howard was always saying all kinds of horrible things about Woody. You know, people would break his balls, and he said they'd be playing chess, and Woody'd be like, "What do you say about me today?" You know, like that. But then after my show, you get Michael Green said, "Woody, I told you this before." He said, "Woody, what'd you think of Jackie?" And Woody said, "He's very funny. He's not my cup of tea."
Apparently,
not my fucking cup of tea. I
So-
mean, he could, you know, he obviously knew me and Michael were friends, so
right.
he was gentle, you know.
This is, by the way, you know, we started a show off with doing dick jokes about fingerbang, and look where this thing went. I didn't know this story about, you know, Epstein and Woody Allen.
I can't believe you didn't
Wow.
know that.
No, you didn't tell me. You sent me that picture. I remember looking at it, and you mentioned who they were, but you didn't mention it was Epstein's house. I'm like, oh man, that's bizarro.
Yeah, because you know it was. It would take so much to explain who he was until all of a sudden
now,
the entire world knew who he was. But that was
Right.
that. Believe it or not, that was somewhat recent. That was 6 months ago, or maybe more. But that wasn't 3 years ago. You know.
right.
Me and him exchanged a lot of emails, and I always delete all my old emails, so I don't have the old emails from him. Because I was like, "Come on, let's get together. Have me over. I want to come." When I went over to his house to eat, he had a young boy, not a kid, but like an 18-year-old kid playing piano, because he's some kid who was going to music school, and Jeffrey was paying his tuition, and the kid was practicing his piano while we ate. You know, it was just very on the up and up, very great. You know,
you're going to be accused now of being part of the Illuminati.
That's fine by me. Fine by me.
Yeah, you say if I was part of the Illuminati, but I'd be much further away in showbiz right now. Right? I'd be like making $1 billion.
Jesus.
I know. Hey, speaking of which, I guess we should get back to the vagina jokes here, the finger banging. So sucking someone's finger is supposed to be seductive, right? But my dentist thought it was kind of just a little upsetting. So, and the classic, why was my guitar teacher arrested for fingering a minor? Speaking of Jeffrey Epstein. And
I told somebody I was getting married, and they said, which came first? I'm getting married, and they say, which came first, the ring or the finger?
I like it. I like it.
My whole life, if I ever see a guy with like a splint on his finger or something like without even thinking, I say, oh, would she get up too fast?
You used to do that joke about the it's the two popsicle sticks with the penis in the box. It's brand new, never used or whatever.
Right.
And by the way, every time I hear that joke, it actually gives you a vision of a cat, like a little popsicle casket. It's in your head, like it's a visual. It's really beautiful.
Did I ever tell you, this has happened to you, I'm sure. Did I tell you the story of that joke?
No.
Because you're the same as me. I go a million miles an hour. I'll tell a joke, but I go a million miles an hour. And if you're a comic and you have an act, you know the responses. You know that this joke gets out of 10, this joke gets 6, this joke gets 7, this joke gets 4, this joke gets 8. It's pretty consistent.
Kind of weave them. You weave them.
Right. It's consistent. It might be a 2 and a 3, but they're always relative to each other, right?
Right.
So I'm downstairs at a club in Jersey in like Lake Hopatcong, and I'm rolling like a freight train, and they're packed down in this sweaty bar in like 1979, and I'm killing. I'm just having a great time. And I got to a joke, and it got a laugh, but it didn't get the laugh that it should get. If I'm doing this, it was usually here, and it was this, and it was here. And it wasn't that they didn't laugh, but it was like something's
wrong.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
So I always tape recorded myself with a mini cassette recorder, right?
Right.
And I'm listening on the way home, and I almost drove off the road. All right, let me tell the people a joke. A guy's getting married on Saturday, so Friday night his friends take him out and get him waylaid, violated, roll-laid, mislaid, everything. Get his brains banged out. And his dick is a mangled mess, and he's getting married the next day. His dick is a mangled mess. He doesn't know what to do, so he takes 2 popsicle sticks and puts them down there and wraps the whole thing in adhesive tape. And he gets married, and that night they walk into the honeymoon suite, and they're getting undressed, and she walks out stark naked and spins around and says, "Look, honey, untouched by human hands." And he pulls down his shorts and says, "Look, not even out of the crate."
I love the joke.
It gets a huge laugh.
It's a great visual, though.
I'm listening on the way home. I never mentioned that he put the popsicles down there and wrapped it in the tape. I left that out.
Mr.
All of a sudden, look out of the crack. They roared because what a funny thing to say, but it made no fucking sense. I've
been there.
Every time I hear that joke, it's like
that brings you back.
Oh God!
In 1979. Oh man, it's funny too because there's certain jokes that do create this visualness. And it's visceral, and you could do it. And you've seen, especially comics that do storytelling or create that story. It's beautiful the way it's crafted. Every single word is crafted beautifully to make the whole thing feel right and get that picture in your mind. And then there's just 1, 2, throw it out and smack them on the head, which is I prefer myself. But it's funny when you start saying about the level of the humor and what number is going to get from 1 to 10. It's funny because most people, if you're not a comic, wouldn't understand that comedy is like music, and it has to have a beat, and the beat has to flow. And you could turn the train up for the beat and turn it back down, but you have to keep it relative to where you're at.
And how much is that is actually in our heads, and how relative it is. But I'm sure I know if I'm making a CD. And I'm going along and I muff a line, I can go to the night before or the night after and take that exact line and lay it in, because it's the same guy. It's funny though, when I listen to myself in 1979 and then listen to myself in 1989 and then listen in 1999, the difference is the characters are so much more developed. Like Dirty Johnny is so much more Dirty Johnny, and the little
voices.
lady is the voices are so much more distinct, but it's so gradual. You know, I'll listen to 1979. So Dirty Johnny says, "How you doing?" The little old lady says, "Hi, how you doing?" And blah blah blah. And then now it's like, "Hey, Mister, you know, hey, how you doing?" You know,
Right. You made those characters grow out of you.
right? You wind up hamming it up. You know,
It's funny you mention that because as a ventriloquist, I hear a line. I think that's great for this dummy because I know it fits that puppet. I know
Right.
his mentality. That's why I mentioned before. Slayton seemed like the old man dummy. He's very negative. He was like, this is going to suck. This is not going to be any good. He's going on and on and on and on. I'm laughing my balls off at how negative he is. And I'm thinking to myself, this is hilarious because I could see where it comes from. But then I made fun of him and he was cool. He was a good guy. He wasn't
he's a dark cloud with a comedian growing under it.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. You know, it's so funny too now. This is great that we put this up in the air on permanent in the air because, you know, that story, it's out there forever to hear. Nobody, I mean, who the hell knows that we were going to just talk about Epstein and I mean, who knows we were even going there? This is on tape forever and it sits up in the cloud forever. It's really good that we did it. I'm glad. I'm so happy about it. And
you can actually Google. I think if you Google Trump friends' wives, you know, the Google gets crazier and crazier to where you could, you know, you put in 2 syllables and the stuff comes up. You know, it's amazing. You know.
Yeah, today it's unbelievable. Everything is out,
and it's great. And it's great. You could just go right to the internet and watch Jay's Great Lone Ranger story, which is just, you know.
I remember watching it. Tell me, you knew Jay pretty well. I didn't know Jay.
No, not real well, but I did his show a couple times, and he was on it serious with us. You know, not with us, but we'd see him. You know, and we were friendly. You know, because he thought I was talented, and he was very talented, and just a little bit of a mutual admiration society. You know,
was he an angry guy? He seemed like he had a little streak in him of like kind of.
I didn't know him well enough to know that.
Yeah.
You know, but anybody's been around this long, you know,
sure.
Like, I like to think that I'm a really easygoing character because I've always been the same old joke teller guy, but I'm sure there's, you know.
Did you like jokes when you were a kid, Jackie?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You want to know something interesting? When I was a kid, I never liked jokes. As a matter of fact, you know, like you go up to the grocery store, or the guy in the corner that sold vegetables. Back in the day, they used to have like a vegetable store where you just had fruits and vegetables. And the old heavy old guy with the cigar would be, "Hey kid, you want to hear something?" He'd tell you the joke, and I'd be like, "This is like an old asshole telling me some stupid joke." It didn't make sense to me because I was very.
And meanwhile, right now, think about how colorful that is.
I know. And now I'm the fat old guy. I'm the federal guy telling you, but the world has changed. You know, it's changed dramatically, and people don't think like they used to think. And I don't think the way I thought when I was a kid. I was very, very analytical, and I didn't have the other part of my brain working to understand to see the humor.
To let it drift off. Yeah, no, I had an 8th grade science teacher who, you know, the day after I lived for Red Skelton, and he would come in and do Red Skelton's seagull jokes. You're not old enough, but Herman and Heathcliff, you know. You know, Herman and Heathcliff are flying along, and a hunter shoots Herman, and Heathcliff flies down and said, "What'd you shoot him for? The fall would have killed him," you know. And then he would laugh hysterically, you know. And I don't know if he should have been telling jokes, but I thought it was wonderful, and it just endeared him to everybody, you know.
See, but that means you had like what, you know, they say there's left brain, right brain, left brain. That means you had the other side balanced in order to see it. And you may even been more towards one side than the other. I mean,
my mother, you know, I bought on the web, I bought this book called The Treasury of Laughter, because I go on with Feldman. A lot of times I start my jokes.
By the way, those are great.
Well, you know, I start off with those mommy jokes, which are so horrible. And this book called The Treasury of Laughter, my mother turned me on to when I was like 6 years old or 8 years old, and it's real dark. There's little Willie rhymes that are like they started off as little Billy jokes and rhymes in the late 1800s in England, and now they're like little Willie, and they were like in the 20s and 30s, and some nasty ass shit that years later I could still see the pages. And I got the book, and there are the pages just like I remember them from 50 years ago. You know, So, my mother was, she wasn't dirty, but she had a wicked, wicked sense of humor that she just instilled in me.
That's wonderful, though. That's actually wonderful. You think about it. A lot of people grow up with no humor in their home at all. And dark humor, people say what you should and shouldn't do, but sometimes it's comics, I notice, the darker the humor, the easier it is for them to last because it becomes so tainted by it all.
Yeah, no, you got to go so far outside. That's why a lot of people, had trouble handling. The whole Aristocrats movie was like a bastardized the whole thing, but the whole thing about the shit and the piss and all that stuff. I mean, you got to get that crazy to get comics. You got to go that extra step.
I remember there was after watching that, somebody said that joke is darker than fingering your sister and finding your dad's wedding ring in her.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
There's a finger joke that fits this, actually. Jackie, we only got like 3-4 minutes left already. This is terrible. Matter of fact, it's good. Well, there's a couple of comments. Only positive COVID is hearing guys every week. Love Jackie's stories. See that? There's a Joe loves the stories.
You know what? I did a podcast the other night with some guy, and one of the comments was somebody said, "Boy, that Jackie Martling really loves himself. Way to go! You did a great job of reining him in." I'm like, what the fuck was he? All I did was answer the guy's questions. It's crazy. So it's nice. It's nice to have it counterbanked. Like Daniel Miller, you are dark humor.
He is dark humor. He living in Canada. It's dark there 9 months of the year. As a matter of fact, Lauren, that's why I bring my son to both of your shows. Thank you, Lauren J. Cook. As a matter of fact, Lauren did bring us. I did a theater pre-COVID, and she came and brought her son and saw my show and said hello and took pictures and told me her favorite comic was you.
Oh, she came we did a show. I did a show at the Algonquin. Oh, I should be promoting it January 9th. How, like Dino said, Jackie, come on, promote the show. I'm like, Dino, we don't know if we're going to be alive January 9th.
You're going to be fine January 9th.
No, but you know how far away that is? I mean, that's crazy.
Do you believe 6 months has passed since COVID? COVID started up around March where everyone really started getting all that stuff going on. It's been 6 months already. It's like that,
But doesn't it seem like it's been 10 years?
Yeah, kind of. But
it's so odd, right?
It's coming back, though. I see. Listen, I was telling this to somebody today, and this has nothing to do with finger banging, but the way I'm envisioning the future, my future, where I see it out of my non-illuminated eye. All right, I see, without Epstein or anyone else involved. But I see it. There's three different phases of people in the country right now, and I think one is the people they've had it. They don't give a shit. We're done. We're finished. They're gonna. So I went to a party the other day. I walk in through the kitchen. Everyone, the Mexicans are wearing the masks. The maitre d', the bartender. There's 100 people in the room. Nobody's wearing a mask. They don't give a shit. So you got those people. Then you got the opposite side, all the way on the other extreme. Let's say that's the third. The next third is the people that are like, I'm hunkering down. They wear the mask if they're in the car driving. They wear the mask if they're walking down the street with their dog. They wear it, and they wear it like on their sleeve, like a badge. Because and when it's over, they're going to still walk around, making sure everyone else in the world is protected. And they're going to say, "Look at me. I make sure that you guys are okay." And then you got those people in the middle that are kind of like, I can't wait for this to be over, but I'm not going to go to that extreme. And those people, when the vaccine comes out, they're probably going to take it and then fall more to the other side. So you got these 3/3 kind of in a way. And I kind of am seeing more on this side of I don't give a shit growing.
Well, but I'm old, so I'm a target. If I get it, I'm done.
You think so? You have existing conditions?
Yeah, no, I don't have existing conditions. I'm just old. But the thing is, this is going to pass. So it's worthwhile wearing a mask and being careful. I really believe in that. I don't wear one. I wear one when I'm, going into a store and all that stuff. If I'm going out walking, I'll have it with me in case I pass somebody. It's being polite to the other people.
Of course.
I would rather err on the side of safety, especially I got, twin nephew, niece, blah, blah, blah. But the whole thing, I read The Pandemic in 1917, and I'm still sorry I read it because
freaked you.
it was so horrible, and then it went away for a while, and it came back in the fall with such a frightening vengeance. And I'm just hoping that's not where we're at. I mean, when it came back in 1917, people were getting up in the morning healthy and dropping dead at the bus stop that night.
Wow.
If you read it, you wouldn't believe
Creepy.
it. And so
Totally creepy.
you just got to hope, I mean, I don't want to end on that, so this is a joke that me and Howard laughed at forever.
Go ahead.
A guy's with his girlfriend, and he's got one finger and a pussy and one finger and an asshole, and he's waggling them and waggling them and waggling them. And then he leaves. And on his way home, he's going, pussy, asshole, pussy, ass. And he runs into a friend. They start talking, shooting the shit. Oh, it was nice to see it. And then he realized he doesn't remember which finger is which. And he sticks his finger in front of his friend's nose and says, what's that smell like? He says, what'd you have that up somebody's ass? Thanks. Asshole. Pussy.
Hey, you know where I thought you were going? I thought you were going towards like, is that your wife's asshole?
Oh,
that's where I thought you were going to go to with that. I never heard that joke, by the way. It's a good joke.
It's a ridiculous joke, But
How about I was fingering my best friend's wife while she was on a period, and suddenly her husband walked in. He caught me red-handed.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
It's okay. This is true. This is true to the true nature, though. When I was in college, my professor asked me back in the day, what do you think about lesbian relationships? Now I would say, I think I like them in 4K.
Very good.
It's kind of a good.
The guy comes home and one of his friends is fucking his wife. So he shoots him. And his wife says, you keep that up, you're not going to have any friends.
See, Jackie, we're at the end. We're at 1 or 2. By the way, today was a pleniforia, if that's the correct word. Is it pleniforia? Is that right?
Plethora.
Thank you very much.
A plethora.
When your lips are broke, it doesn't work that well.
Yeah, I understand that.
But it's actually information that's so bizarro and weird and great. I'm happy that this is more entertaining to me than the people watching. I'm sure. But
no, hopefully, next week we'll talk about Jaco Pastorius. Do you know who that was? You know who that is?
Yes, I do. Yes,
world's greatest bass player.
Yes,
I bumped into everybody along the way. Everybody. So much fun.
What do lesbians do when they have a problem?
Finger paint.
No, they finger it out.
Oh, Jesus.
Go on, hit us one more before we leave. Wait, let's go. Any more finger banging? One more?
What do you call a lesbian with thick fingers? Well hung.
Jackie, we'll see you next week. And where do we find you? Cameo.
Cameo.com/Jackie Martling. And, I had two 20-year-olds the other day. Two 20-year-olds. Like, I thought maybe it was a couple of regular Stone fans fucking with me, like, oh, let's see if Jackie thinks it's really two young guys. But it was two film guys that are going to Harvard, and they're film school guys. And they said they're huge Stern fans and especially huge Jackie fans. And I said, so I did the cameo for them. I didn't know this. I just did the cameo.
Right.
And I was so worried. And then I got an incredible email from this kid saying, they were such big fans and they really loved it. Yak, yak, yak. And I wrote back and said, look, give me your address. I'll send you a book. I was so thrilled. But I said to the guy, do you understand? When I left the Stern show, you weren't born yet.
That's how old, huh?
This is like a 20-year-old kid. But they were huge fans because as time goes on, the new Stern fans are going back and looking at the old stuff, and they're freaking out and they love it. So I'm getting a little bit of a bump, Which
but you got all the people that are suddenly so woke and they're not allowed to laugh and have all these things go on, and then you have a bunch of people that are just like, I'm going backward, enjoying the past of what's funny. What's naturally funny is funny. People are trying to.
We were watching MASH last night, and
the
movie, which is so great, and they go and get this ringer to help them win the football game against the officers. and he's a black guy named like Searcher Watcher or something, and they just call him Spear Chucker. But it's so funny and it's so hard. I mean, it's all
harmless at the
attitude.
time.
It's
Right.
all attitude.
Yeah. You know what I watched last night? Groucho Marx. I went on like Hulu. I was watching Groucho Marx, You Bet Your Life, because when he used to interview those people, he was sharp and he was so on point. I sat there and laughed for like 2 hours.
Okay, John.
Loved it.
Okay, so I used to sit there and write jokes for Howard, right?
Yeah.
When Groucho interviewed those people, there were people standing off to the side with immense piece of cardboard with all the fucking ad libs.
No. Oh, you're just taking my the air out of the sail.
I don't know if it, just like with me and Howard, I don't know if it was some of them, all of them.
Some of them
who knows? And most of them were actors. But what difference does it make? Because the point is, you weren't buying what he was saying. You were buying his character.
That's
you
true.
Were buying the leer.
The delivery.
And,
yeah.
I like my cigar, but I take it out once in a while. I mean,
it's funny too. There's like sometimes I'll go do a roast. I did a roast in Long Island and when I do the roast, you write all this material and you get it all in this, you get it all in your head and I may like read off a sheet of the roast to the people and then I'll take the dummy out and be doing stuff and then create the situation that I need to pull that joke out to hit it.
You absolutely build around it.
Right.
There's a lot more to it. To build a house, you don't just go out and start pounding nails.
That's right. But the point is that when it's done, people come and go, you are the quickest. And meanwhile, it's not you're the quickest. You're prepared. Is what
abso-fucking-lutely.
Right. And prepared makes you look like a genius.
But I've actually seen. I didn't just read that like some Groucho writer who was upset who wrote. So I mean, I've actually seen either video or stills where you see the set and you see Groucho there and you see the people holding up the boards and what's worse than a heart attack? Give the Snows the answer. I tell Nick, I don't care. I'm going, John. I'm going to go in and watch part 2 of
you do that, Jackie.
The Comey thing. And
tomorrow night, enjoy the with popcorn, the big debate tomorrow night. We'll get you if they want to come see you at cameo.com/Jackie Martin. And it's always way too much fun, Jackie. You have a great week.
I love it.
Love you back.
And eventually we will do a show together.
Can't wait. I'm here. I'm ready. And my hand is dry and clean.
Charlie Fisher's gay.
See you next week. Ciao.